Hi, everyone. I'm Christine Kittergrave, and I'm here to tell you why your LinkedIn stinks. Yeah, a lot of your LinkedIn stinks. And I'm here to tell you about that today. And I was having some technical difficulties, so that's why I'm a little late here. I'm getting started about 11 minutes late, and I think it's my own technical issues here, but we've got it all fixed. So I'm going to just jump right in right away. Okay, so what do I mean, first of all, when I say your LinkedIn stinks? You're not using it. That's the bottom line. You're not using it. And LinkedIn is a great tool. So I work with marketing and sales executives specifically. That's my niche. But I mean, this can help anyone out there. All right. So to help you with your career, and especially if you're doing a job search, you need to be utilizing LinkedIn. So, how do you utilize it? You need to be on it at least for 5 minutes a day to start, at the very minimum. Okay. And the people I'm thinking of right now are those of you who are not in job search mode right now. So maybe you're very happy, you have no intention of changing jobs. You're really busy in your job right now. Okay. But how do you know you may not lose your job tomorrow? I mean, you may think you have job stability, but I want you to be always prepared. I want you to be prepared for the worst case scenario. And the best way to be prepared is to have a strong group of connections that you can tap into, or as many people say, a network. I like to use the word connection instead of network because to me that's more what it's really about is those connections. So that's that's key. Like think about it this way. What if you were able to find your next ideal role? All right, a role that was challenging at a great company. You were able to work for an awesome boss who you learned a lot from. You had a great group of coworkers. It checked all of your boxes. It had everything, okay, or the majority of things. What if you were able to find that job without having to do a job search? That's actually going to be my next master class. Find your next ideal role without doing a job search. I'm excited about that, but let's just talk about that now. So that can happen. You can do that, but you can only do that if you have a strong group of connections that you are connected to. They're not really connections unless you're connected to them, all right? And unless you're helping them, they're helping you. So that's key. And LinkedIn is the place to be for that, to be able to tap into that, okay, for you to be able to help your connections and for them to help you. Don't be one of those people who only reaches out to someone like once every 7 years or 5 years when you need a job. Stay in touch with people, and it doesn't require a lot. LinkedIn makes it super easy. All right. So that's why you need to be on LinkedIn. But it all starts with being on LinkedIn for as little as 5 minutes a day. And what you can do in that 5 minutes, you can utilize it to stay up to date. If you do watch the news, maybe instead of watching the news, you take, instead of 5 minutes of watching the news, use that to be on LinkedIn for 5 minutes. And that way you can get content, you know what's going on in the business world, you can stay up to date on current events. But that's a good place to start. Okay. And then in the next 5 minutes, what you could do is you could reach out to one of your existing connections. And then also, too, in that 5 minutes, you could reach out to a new connection, someone that you've never talked with, a brand new connection. And the way to do that, I mean, so many people aren't available to like pick up their phone. If you do have a phone number, you call one of your contacts. They may not be able to pick up the phone. Well, start with LinkedIn. Use the messaging in LinkedIn. And in the LinkedIn messaging, you can actually send a video message. The video messages make it super easy to stay in touch with people. And I do use them. I don't use them all the time, but that could be a fun way for you to stay in touch with your existing connections or even to make a new connection. So, so that's just kind of the ground rules I would say for using LinkedIn. Um, but let me get back to like my three specific reasons on why your LinkedIn stinks. So number one, you're not using it really. You're not there. You're not present. You're not showing up. All right. Um, and one of the ways that you show up is having a current profile photo because your profile photo is your brand. It is your brand. It represents you, right? So you should have a current profile photo. It should be from the past year. All right. If you don't have one from the past year, work on updating that as soon as you can. And then going forward, just every year, update it with a new photo. But if you don't have a profile photo, please get something because again, it's like you're checked out. It's like don't even have a LinkedIn profile then if you don't have a profile photo. Okay. And then the other thing is that LinkedIn banner that is behind your profile photo, use that. That is a free billboard for you to communicate your brand. What is it that you want to communicate about your brand? We think in pictures. So take advantage of that free billboard. You can have it say anything you want. And as I'm meeting new people on LinkedIn, I've seen some great creative LinkedIn banners that I still remember those people. I talked with them like a year ago or like months ago, but I still remember them because they differentiated themselves. They stood out from other people. And you want to do that too. What's something about you that makes you stand out? So again, my number one pet peeve, maybe that should have been the title of this, my three top pet peeves on why your LinkedIn stinks. But that profile photo, pay attention to that. Really pay attention to that. And then right behind it is the banner photo. So make sure you have that updated too. And you can have photos of yourself in that as well. Like if you're a leader and maybe you've done presentations and you've been interviewed, you've done a TEDx talk, whatever. If you have a photo of you presenting, talking to a group in a meeting, showing you in action, doing what you're good at, that's great. If you can do something like that, that would be really awesome. Okay, keeping an eye on the time, especially since I started late. For number two, my number two on why your LinkedIn profile stinks or why your LinkedIn stinks is again, you're not, it gets back to not showing up and you're not telling us that much about you. In terms of your headline, LinkedIn gives us a ton of room to describe ourselves in our LinkedIn headline. It gives us, I want to say it's like 40 characters. So if you go in to your LinkedIn profile, go in there and sometime today if you can't do it right now, but look at it and see how much space it gives you. And you want to max out that space. You want to use every inch of space that LinkedIn gives you in the headline to describe your brand. And that way, it's going to be so much easier. Like if you have calls scheduled with a new contact, a new person in the course of doing your job. I mean, let's say I'm a new vendor that you're meeting with. You know, for me to be prepared, I'm going to review your LinkedIn profile. I'm going to try to learn more about you before we talk for the first time. And if you provide a really good descriptive headline in your LinkedIn profile, that's going to help me get to know you better and it'll help break the ice. It'll help us to work better together. I mean, it really helps immensely. So you need to take advantage of it. You need to max out on that headline and tell me as much about you as you want me to know about your brand in that. Okay. Now, for job searchers, you have to maximize that too. You need to really look at those jobs that you would call your ideal role. You know, what are you targeting in your job search? And then how does your brand fit with those roles? And then that's the verbiage that you want to use in your headline. Why are you the solution for those positions? That's what needs to be in your headline. And then also, I really like it when people share a small um, personal thing about themselves. Like I'm a triathlete in training right now. I did some swimming this morning, and I'm definitely in training for sure. But that's the personal tidbit that I'm sharing about myself. So if you can share something about yourself, again, that helps you to be memorable. Um, Anything that you're comfortable with, as long as you know it's on social media. So be comfortable with that. But again, it's a good icebreaker and it will help you to find common ground with people. Like if you're interviewing, you always want to find that common ground with the people that you're interviewing with. I mean, it will help you so much in landing that job that you're looking for. Okay, so again, I was talking about why your LinkedIn stinks. I talked about the profile photo. Oh, and by the way, I wanted to make sure I said this. This actually happened on a call that I had earlier today with a new connection. And what happened is whenever I have a call with a new connection, and by the way, I encourage you to connect. If we are not first degree connections, reach out to me and let's connect and let's have a phone call. Okay. So, so anyway, this was a new connection, and we're having our phone call. And as part of that, doing that phone call, I always give feedback to my new connection, on their LinkedIn profile. What do I think of them? Well, what do I think of their profile? What is it clear? Are you communicating what you want to communicate? How good is it? So I'm critiquing it. I'm giving you my feedback. And so I was giving my feedback on her profile, but I couldn't see her profile photo. Okay. And it was because the connection request hadn't gone through yet. But make sure that your settings on your LinkedIn profile are what you want them to be. So do you want, second degree connections to see your profile photo? That's the thing. And I would say, yes, I would encourage you to make sure that second and third degree connections can see your profile because that's your brand, your profile photo. Okay. So make sure you're aware of how others are viewing your LinkedIn profile. And again, I would encourage you to make sure that everyone can see your LinkedIn profile photo because that is your brand. Okay, so I talked about that. I talked about the headline, and then the about section is like the next section. So the top part of your LinkedIn profile is really important. Okay. But again, the more you can share about yourself in your profile, the better. And the about section is a great way to tell your story, your professional story. What are your lessons learned? Um, what are you most proud of? What are your achievements? Um, but again, it's in first person too. So it's great supplemental information to your resume and just again, so people can get to know you. So if you haven't looked at your about section in a while, definitely look at that because people do look at that. That is important. That is really important. So again, keeping an eye on the time. So again, just kind of summarize, what are my fixes for you? Because this is minute 15 already into this LinkedIn Live. What are my three solutions for you for these reasons why I feel like your LinkedIn stinks? Okay. So again, using LinkedIn, start using it like just 5 minutes a day. And then the other thing, you can use it for content. That's the key thing to stay up to date on what's going on. Reach out to at least one existing connection, only one, and just start with LinkedIn messaging. Just shoot them a quick message. It can be just like, hey, how are you doing? It's been a while since we talked. What's going on? And then that's it. The third thing is to make a new connection. So think about a company that is maybe on your target list. You would love to work there. Do you have any connections there? If not, try to make a new connection there. Maybe look for the person who is at that company who does something similar to what you do, and you can connect and you can compare notes. That could be something fun to do. So, again, content, reach out to an existing connection and make a new connection. Okay. So, those are my fixes for making sure that you're doing better with LinkedIn and that you're utilizing it and your LinkedIn doesn't stink anymore. Um, and then the whole about section, sharing sharing your story on that, and really, you know, telling us about your accomplishments. What are you most proud of? And then your headline, really using the headline, using all the space, maxing out on it. That's how you fix it. So take some time today if you can look at your LinkedIn headline specifically because searches are run on that. When people are searching on LinkedIn and they're doing searches, the search is looking for keywords on the headline, your about section, and your experience. Those are like the three big sections, I would say. Um, and again, it's all about, asking yourself this question. And you could be really happy in your current job, you could love it, but what if there was an opportunity? Is there an opportunity that you would want someone to reach out to you about? What would that opportunity look like? Um, and that would, in essence, be finding your next ideal role without having to do a job search, without having to update your resume, without having to apply for a job. If the hiring manager reached out to you and said, "Hey, I saw your profile on LinkedIn. I thought it was pretty cool. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it." That has happened to my clients, and it's a pretty cool thing when it does. And it could happen to you, but it's only going to happen to you when you show up and you really show up in your profile. You show up using LinkedIn, like reading it for content, using it as a good source of information because it is a really good source of information. Um, and even, reading others' posts, looking at those. If you can even take the step of liking a post or commenting on it, that would be even better. You would get bonus points in my view because I think the majority of people that are on LinkedIn don't really comment, and we need more people to comment. We need you to share your perspective. We need you to share your opinion because you have a voice and your voice matters. So speak up and be heard. That's important. And you could start as easily as when you are taking your 5 minutes to read content on LinkedIn, you're trying to stay up to date on current events. You see an article and it really it resonates with you. Share it. Share it with your connections. Share it and then when you're sharing it, like write a sentence or two about why you're sharing it. Why did you like this article? Maybe pose a question to people. Start a conversation on LinkedIn. That's why it's such a great platform, is because we can actually start those conversations. We can start engaging others, and that's that's a good thing to do. So, so it would be great to see more people utilizing LinkedIn, for the platform that it is. And think about out of all these suggestions that I gave you today, what's what's one thing that you can start immediately? Even if you just do one thing differently today, then that's a good thing. And then try to do that one thing consistently for the next 21 days. So maybe it just starts with being on LinkedIn for 5 minutes a day. I've said this before, say it again. I do like the LinkedIn app on my iPhone. I do know, I believe that the primary device that users of LinkedIn use to access LinkedIn is their laptop, okay, or their their computer. So it's more of a computer app or a computer social media versus, our cell phones. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's great. It shows that we're using it. It's like it's very professional and we're utilizing it to help us with our work. So that's great. But don't forget the app on the cell phone is a great tool. And there's certain things that you can do on the app on your cell phone that are easier to do, like, like the videos, like when I'm messaging people and staying in touch with my connections, it's just super easy and quick to send them a quick video. Or you could also, if you don't wanna do video, but you'd rather not do text, maybe just send them a voice message too. That's another option that you can utilize in LinkedIn messaging. So so again, just to summarize, um, the 3 reasons why your LinkedIn stinks is you're not maximizing the headline, you don't have a profile photo, or maybe it's too old of a profile photo, you're not really using the LinkedIn banner, you're not sharing your story, you're not really showing up on LinkedIn. So the way to get around that is to show up, max out your LinkedIn headline, tell us more about you and your brand in that, and update your profile photo. Make sure people can see it. I want you to check your settings, and if you're okay, I think you really should have your profile turned on so second degree connections can see it and third degree connections can see it because that's your brand and that's how you're showing up. And who knows? Maybe someone will be reaching out to you soon with that next ideal opportunity. And you won't even have to do a job search. You won't have to apply. You won't have to do a resume. That will be my next master class. It's going to be in May. And again, it's land your ideal role without doing a job search, and it'll be good. So I'm excited. All right, everyone, enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you so much for being connected with me here on LinkedIn. I'm very grateful that you are a connection or that you're following me. And if you haven't subscribed to our newsletter too, we send it out every week, and we're really trying to help you utilize this amazing platform and have energizing work so you can have an extraordinary life. Bye, everybody. Take care.